First question, what inspired you to give your talk?
So I wanted to talk about technical agile coaching because I've been successful with it in a way that I hadn't been successful with other techniques I've used previously. So I wanted to share with this group of people what I found to work. And I was very pleased to be invited to this conference because I knew there would be a lot of people here who do test-driven development and who want to spread that kind of technical practice. And I thought this would be a helpful contribution for people.
Do you feel like perhaps your talk could inspire people to take the agile technical work that you do and try to integrate it into their teams?
Yeah, I hope that people will come away and think, yeah, actually this is important. Learning technical skills like this is important, and this is another tool that I can use with the mob programming that I suggested, and the coding dojo, maybe in this shorter format that I talked about, doing it as a learning hour, just an hour every day, doing a code kata, and making that a normal part of work. And I think these are things that are actionable for people at this conference.
This is an interesting one. So in our apprenticeships, we've had a few people who've used your blog as a reference point, and it's quite a thing to write a well-crafted blog post. You don't just write it in 10 minutes, right? It takes a lot of experience, it takes a lot of hard work to put it together in an understandable manner. So what motivates you to do that, to put that content out there?
Well, I mean, I do enjoy writing. And I wanted to get better at writing. When I started the blog, that was one of my motivations, to get better at writing, just by practicing it more. And I guess over the years I've kept it going because it helps me to organise my thoughts and put down what I've learnt, but also as a way to highlight the exercises that I've designed. I've got a GitHub page with a whole bunch of code kata exercises, some of which have become pretty popular. And I find it really useful to get people onto there and using my exercises, because then they send me pull requests. They send me translations and improvements. So this is partly why I write my blog, to get people to help me out on my open source projects.
I'm just going to read this one as is. So, agile technical practices, TDD, etc., require quite a heavy commitment from the team. You're not just writing code as you see fit anymore. And there's obviously an upfront cost. We're talking about how do we convince people to make this investment, right? I think that covers both developers and convincing them that it's a good idea and why, and then selling to management this idea that initially it might take a bit longer to get things done, but down the road the difficulty curve decreases drastically. But how do you go about selling that to both the business and the technical camp?
So selling TDD is something I've been trying to do for a number of years now, and with varying success. So I think for a technical person, you have to start to talk about TDD and all the benefits it has for you as a developer. It helps you to write better code and to be more confident in that code, and in the long run to actually be able to maintain your code. Plus that it's when you can actually do TDD, it is really quite a fun way to work. And you've got to try and get people to experience that benefit by helping them to do TDD on really quite simple problems to start with, and be successful at it, and realise that there's more to this. This is something that I could learn, and it is something that could be useful. So the arguments for programmers is a lot about getting them to try it and to get them to experience it working. For managers, to try and persuade them that this is a good thing, then you start to talk more about quality and agility, which is what I was talking about today, really, that if you're going to be really agile, you have to have a code base and an infrastructure that supports that. It's got to be possible to make a change in the code and be confident that it's not going to break a bunch of stuff, and reasonably confident that your change works. And for that to be true, you basically need a large amount of automated tests. And the easiest kind of test to get started with is the unit tests. A lot of teams write unit tests these days, but I don't always see them being very supportive of those kind of refactorings that they then need to make. And I don't always see that those tests are catching the errors that they're seeing. And I think that's partly due to a lack of skill amongst the developers, that they're writing tests but they're not writing good tests. So learning TDD is a skill that managers should be interested in because it helps the developers to write better tests and to become more agile in the code base. Those are the kind of arguments I talk about.
Talk to more managers. Cool. Well, we've spoken this. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Once you left, you mentioned your 2-week cycle, and you kind of let the team go their own way. And obviously, when you're there, they maintain to a certain standard, and then they do their own thing, say for 2 months, and you come back. And I would imagine they dip a little bit. So how do you convince them? How do you motivate them to keep that cycle going, or keep those quality levels high as a result?
Yeah, so it's not easy to change anyone's behavior, you have to basically try and show them a better way and get them to be comfortable enough with it that they will carry on doing it because it becomes a default way of doing things. And that's, I've only seen this a few times that really behavior has changed a big way, and one of them was when I looked at some of the teams Llewellyn had been working with. Not all the teams had really got it, but some of them really had and were working really well. And I think it was that they had got mob programming and they were doing that when Llewellyn wasn't there. That was the big difference with that team that was really, really flying compared with the others, because it seems to me such a skill multiplier. That if one person in the team knows something, then it's very quick to spread that via the mob to the whole team. So even when Llewellyn had gone away, the team was still learning stuff. And they were sufficiently inspired by him to also set up a learning hour. Maybe not every day, like it was when Llewellyn was there, but they were still practicing and learning new stuff. So it's not every team that really flies like that, but I have seen it happen.
I like that term skill, just as an aside, skill multiplier. You still that. Obviously the bell's going, so I think we've got time for perhaps just one more.
Okay.
Yeah, have you thought about the conference you could ask?
Well, let's say overall, what's your impression of the conference? Been enjoying it, enjoying the talks? I mean, we've got big names here, which is amazing. And surrounded by these people. What do you think?
I was so pleased to be invited to this conference, and this lineup is fantastic. These are people who I have followed for years, like Bob Martin and Steve Freeman and Rachel. I met them back in 2002 at an XP conference, and they've been following their work since then as well. So I think it's fantastic that Sandro has managed to draw together this group of speakers for this conference, and I've been really enjoying the talks so far.
And just a last quick one, if people want to follow you, learn more about you, your projects and everything, what's the best way for them to do that?
So I'm on Twitter, probably a little bit more than I should be, and I do like being on Twitter. I also write a blog, as you've noted. It's less frequent than my tweets, but it's more in depth, and that's probably the best way to follow what I'm up to, my blog on Twitter.